What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again here with John. Me and John were just having a phone discussion. You know, he's got back in from work between 4 and 9 o'clock this morning. Probably done £187.50 in his little taxi, and
Get out of bed for that.
yeah, well, that's it. And he just said he just got really heightened in passion. So instead of just me listening to it, I thought we'd get him on it. So, John, you weren't expecting this. I wasn't expecting this. Let's talk about what you discussed. Let's start with brands.
Okay. Well, I did see something the other week that there's apparently a few disagreements between Brands and Ancelotti. Brands wants certain players. Ancelotti wants other players, and they're not agreeing on them. For me, Ancelotti wins this argument all day. Brands has let us down so many times in the transfer windows. He's bought shite. Okay, Branthwaite was a good find, but as I've said many times, a piece of paper that big for good signings and an A4 piece of paper for the shite that he's bought. He's in the last 12 months of his contract now. I just said to Michael before on the phone call, might be a bit harder to shift him after this 12 months if his contract doesn't get renewed because he's on the board. Michael doesn't think that will be the case. You know, for me, it's pointless Brand staying on the board if he's having no input into transfers, because that's what Everton brought him in for. For me, his contract either gets finished early if he fucks up in this transfer window, or he sees out the 12 months and then it's bye-bye. For me, Carlo Ancelotti, you know, he's worked for some of the biggest clubs in the world. He's one of the most successful managers in club football in the world. So Ancelotti wins the argument all day.
Yeah, look, I can't sit there and argue with you, and I won't sit there and argue with you. We've been mentioned, we've been linked with several players. Magalhães being one. We've been linked with him for probably the best part of 2 to 3 months, to be brutally honest. Apparently, a deal was agreed back in February, I think it was. He's even come to Finch Farm. Yeah, it doesn't look like that one's going to get over the line because Manchester United might want him, or, you know, Napoli are in, or some shit like that. Now, does that concern you? Like, you know, does that concern you that, again, it's another signing that Everton might not make because of how slow we've been again in the transfer market?
It concerns me because I thought things might change, but nothing surprises me when it comes to transfers, Michael. You know, the deal was practically done before the lockdown in football. As you quite rightly say, it was a Finch Farm. He'd agreed a deal. The problem we have now is Everton are not willing to pay his club the price that they were asking for, because Everton are now saying, well, it should be less. He's further on into his contract. And I've said this many times, football transfer fees now for players are going to drop drastically, because I heard something this morning. I think the Premier League alone has lost £138 million in the 3 months where there was no football. So clubs are going to be affected by that. You know, clubs have had no fans in. They've had to pay season ticket holders back their money. So listen, you can have all the money in the world. Don't really think it's affected Everton massively because we have got a rich owner there. But listen, as you quite rightly said, I'll say it again, in the last video or the video before, Mashiri's not going to keep putting money in, Michael, you know, so they have to come to some sort of agreement. The Magalhães one, he's been making his mind up now. This week, the week before. Listen, I'm fucked with Magalhães now. If he doesn't want to come for us and he's waiting for the Man United to come in or for somebody else to come in, then just move on to our next target, because now we're 9 days into the transfer window now, and we haven't signed anyone. And listen, not many clubs have signed players, to be fair. But for the players we're being linked with, do you know, if they don't want to play for Everton, Michael, fuck them and move on. Move on. We're spending too much time on Magalhães, and Brand's done this with Zouma as well. He put all his eggs in one basket, and that didn't happen, and that's why we were left short at centre-half. And if we don't move on from Gabriel Magalhães this time again, if he's not going to sign for us, we need to move on, or we're going to be in the same position as what we were.
Yep, spot on. And guys, if you're enjoying the content, please remember to subscribe, retweet, share, press the thumbs up button, like it, and press the bell notification. It means a lot to us. Right, so that's fine. You've talked about one of our targets, Gabriel Magalhães. Let's go on to who that potentially leads to then, and that's Kurt Zouma, who has been made available by Chelsea. Now, You said something to me earlier which I massively disagreed on, so here we go. I'm looking forward to this bit because I'll come over to Liverpool and twat you all around the house. But you said that sentiment is dead to you, essentially.
Yeah.
You want more cutting edge.
Yeah, Everton. Well, yeah, I want Everton to be a tougher club, Michael. I don't want us to. Bill Kenwright got his way with Wayne Rooney when he come back. And as you quite rightly said again, he was our top scorer that season when he come back. It wasn't hard, to be fair. Would he be top scorer now? Probably not. I know he's aged, but I just, sentiment's done for me. Kurt Zouma had the chance to sign for Everton and he refused point blank and said, I want to go back to Chelsea. Look, I've enjoyed my time at Everton, but I want to go back to Chelsea to see if it'll work for me there. I'm quite surprised that Chelsea have put him on the transfer window for the simple fact of the matter is he's been playing quite regular lately. I've seen something before. Lampard is actually going to put up to 10 players up for sale. Christensen was one. I can't say that word properly, but you know what I mean. Zouma's another one. There's other players there. Barkley could be another one. I've seen Everton fans saying, 80% of them that the rat, no, I don't want him back. But there's 20% of them going, well, let's bring Barkley back. Barkley will do a job for us. He's the sort of player we need, but I'd rather do without than bring him back. So for me, sentiment's gone, and that leads me on to, we were talking about Idrissa Gana Gueye. Looks like this morning PSG are willing to listen to offers for him. Great player. Gomez seems to have gone down the pants since Idrissa Gana Gueye left. I think they brought the best out of each other. But for me, again, it's sentiment. He's coming up to 31 years of age now. No sell-on value. I just don't want sentiment anymore. I want someone new to come into the club who has never played for the club before, who can learn the club, who can take us on to the next level. For many, many months now, I've talked about Doucoure from Watford. He's the sort of player we need. I will go after Doucoure before Idrissa Gana Gueye, not just because of sentiment, but he's younger. He can come into the plan. He can come into the project. By the time we reach where we want to be with the project, Idrissa Gana Gueye will probably have hung his boots up.
Yeah, fair. Look, it's difficult for me to. I have got a counter argument, but I don't want to blow you out the water with it, to be honest. I'm joking.
Listen, I've said it how it is. Nah, you say it how it is. That's what it's all about.
It's not that. It's if you go and get a player who has not played for Everton, yes, they can buy into it. Yes, they might be top quality, but we've seen it time and time again. These fantastic footballers who come into Everton who are going to be the next best fucking thing, and all of a sudden they don't do anything. At least with Garner, you know what you're getting.
That just doesn't happen at Everton, does it? It happens at every club.
But exactly, but at least you know what you're getting if you go and sign a Kurt Zouma, a Garner. At least you know what you're getting. You know you're getting players who bought into the club the first time, who were successful. Yes, Garner, I do get the comment with Garner. His age is a concern. He's close to 32, I think. I would be wanting a heavily reduced deal from PSG. But if somebody said to me, you're going to sign Garner...
PSG letting them go?
Well, but if you're going to say to me, you could get Garner for, say, 12 or 15 million, I'd probably snap your hand off.
Well, yeah, but... See, this is the counter-argument, isn't it? The transfer fees are going to drop dramatically. They are. But they're going to want more than that, Michael. How long's he been there? 12, 18 months? The contract he signed was a 3 or 4 year contract. But they wanted him. And listen, the deal that Everton agreed with PSG and Gana Gueye was absolutely fantastic about it. He's been one of their better players this season. You've pointed out many times in a match against Real Madrid, he was man of the match. In the Champions League, he's got his wish. He's played in the Champions League now. Why are PSG willing to let him go so quick into a contract when he's been one of their better players this season?
Well, who knows? Who knows? That's their prerogative. But the simple facts are, I think the fans would buy into Garner. I think Garner would buy back into Everton. I see Garner very similar to what Pienaar did. He left, he went to Spurs, he wanted to play European football, he felt Spurs would do that. He found out that he couldn't crack the Spurs team. He couldn't get in front of Gareth Bale or whoever it was at the time. And he ended up coming back to Everton and seeing out the rest of his career. He's still seen as an Everton great. You know, whereas you've had players like Wayne Rooney who have come back. And, yeah, I mean, he was the top goal scorer, but he certainly didn't set the team alight. Didn't help in the team that he was in. You've had other players in the time. Francis Jeffers come back, did fuck all. There's numerous players. There's only a few players that come back and get it right. And I think, for me, if Magalhães is a better player, right? So let me just say this before. Magalhães is a better player. But if you're going to say to me that Kurt Zouma could come back and he's a decent price, 12, 15, less than 20 million, I've got nothing against signing Kurt Zouma. And I've got nothing against signing Ghana. The thing that I will say, and I did this just before we come on, is if you look at the transfer market stats, I look at ceilings of players. Now, Idrissa Gana's Gueye highest ever transfer value has been £30 million, and that was when he was sold. Sold to PSG from Everton. Allan's has been 56 million.
Yeah.
So, in my, transfer market get their fees wrong.
Who'd you take if we've got to pick a two, Allan or Idrissa Gana Gueye?
Allan.
Because you're not getting goals, as you quite rightly pointed out. You want a midfielder who's going to bring goals. None of them two players bring goals, but we're looking at a player who also, when he does join Everton, needs to bring the best out of Gomez again.
Yeah.
Now I know what Idrissa Gana Gueye did, but age thing, bigger value, as you've just pointed out. So listen. For me, Allan's a better player than Idrissa Gana Gueye. So that was my question to you. Who, if you have the choice of two, who'd you bring back?
So I would go with Allan. I would go with Allan over Ghana. But what I'm saying is, Allan is certainly a better player. He's proven it time and time again. But we do not know what he will be like taking to Everton. We've seen it with different players. We don't know how he will come in and react to Everton. The Italian leagues is a much slower league. The leagues he's played in, bar Napoli, he's a good player, but he's never been proved in the toughest league in the world. Ghana has. It's the Messi Ronaldo debate all of a sudden, but we're going down to Allan and Ghana. The facts are, if somebody said to me you could have Messi or Ronaldo, for me, I always go, yeah, I'll have Ronaldo because he knows what the Premier League is like.
Yeah,
but just to sort of caveat it, there's absolutely no harm in the fact that Everton, being straight honest, if they sell Sigurdsson, Besic, Davies, Schneiderlin's already gone, we might need 3 midfielders, John.
Who's to say we don't bring Gueye and Allan in? I would personally like Doucoure and Allan.
Yeah, and I can see that. My concern with Doucoure is I don't massively rate his footwork, but Jesus Christ, he's certainly better than what we've got, and he does add a few goals to you because he did for Watford last season. He knows Richarlison. He'll link up well with Richarlison, so that could work. Doucoure is certainly a great shout. How much is he going to cost?
Well, you see, Watford have gone down, so obviously they can't ask for stupid money. Jack Grealish apparently is going to cost anything between 50 and 70 million pounds from Aston Villa. They stayed up. If they would have went down, they could not afford to keep hold of Jack Grealish. So his transfer value drops, just like Doucoure's will. What does Doucoure cost? You could probably offer, the way the transfer window is going to go, you could probably get Abdou Doucoure for 30 million.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take that. Now, one other player we've been linked with today, and apparently, again, it's come out that his transfer fee could be as low as 30 million. This was a player that a lot of us said, yes, we would have took him last season, but not this season, just because he's come out and said he wants Champions League football. It's Wilfried Zaha. Apparently, according to reports today, he is available for 30 million. Now, does that change the conversation from being 50 million?
Yeah, it does. It does. I think because the option Doucoure gives you, Zaha gives you is, I was reading the stat this morning, there was only one player who was tackled more than him last season in the Premier League. That was Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
Okay? So players are scared when Zaha gets the ball. He put more crosses in than most wingers in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He retained more possession. He had more dribbles than most players in the Premier League for £30 million. And he's not that old. I don't know how old Zaha is. Is he 25, 26, is he?
27. 28.
Is he? But you'll still spend £30 million on a player like that, Michael. Right? Because then that gives us the option where when we're short up front, that saves us money on going out and buying a striker, because Tosin may go, the Prince has already gone. Well, he's gone, so that only leaves us with Keane and Dominic Calvert-Lewin as the strikers. But bringing Zaha in gives us that option to put Richarlison up front if we have to.
Yeah, look, I mean,
for £30 million, there's a bit. And £20 million is a lot with the current climate in football. It's a lot. I think he'd work well with Luca Dean down the left-hand side there. For £30 million, I'd take Zaha. And I know if it was still £40-50 million, I'd be sitting here going, that ship sailed. That, we had our chance with him. Crystal Palace didn't want to sell him, fair enough. We had our chance. For £30 million, I would take Zaha at Everton.
Yeah, I mean, so I've just done. I'm sitting in front of my laptop so I can do this, but I've just done some little checks on him. So Wilfried Zaha, you actually don't appreciate how many games he's actually played in his career, considering he is still 27. You are right, John. He is 27. He's played a lot of football. He's played 341 games. But this is the stat that I think will scare you. In terms of league football, and bearing in mind he spent 4 years in the Championship as well, with Crystal Palace between 2009 and 2013. He's only scored 50 goals. So that's roughly 1 in 7. Or 1 in 7. Now that surprises me.
That, to me, comes across as he's capable of chipping in with a goal here and there, but he's a provider. You have a look on your laptop there, how many assists he's had. Yeah,
well, it's difficult to say, but here, so if you look at the last couple of years before this season, so Zaha had played 29 games in 17-18 and scored 9 goals. So that's a good return for player. 18-19 was his best season. He made 34 appearances and scored 10 goals. This season he's made 38 games and he's only scored 4. So it sounds to me that he's wanted his move last season, which we all know about. Now, another name that I'm going to just quickly throw in there, because I appreciate you are probably knackered and want to get yourself off to bed, is Ismail Sarr.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to throw this name at me.
Do not worry. Do not worry. I should have done this. Right, so Sarr obviously plays for Watford. He's played 28 times this season. He scored 5 goals. In 118 league appearances, he scored 23. So based on that, he's already ahead of Zaha in terms of 1 in 6 he scores. He's younger. And according to this, if Zaha leaves Palace, Palace will go for Sarr. So Zaha for 30 million, Sarr for 40 million. Now, what I'm saying is, I actually think I would prefer Sarr over Zaha.
Well, okay, so that's fair enough. The question I'll ask you is, if you offer Watford 50 million quid, 50 million quid for 2 players from a team who've just been relegated to the Championship, for Sarr and for Doucoure, would you be happy with Everton getting them 2 players in for 50 million?
100%. I think it'll be closer to 60.
But there's 2 positions filled there. And listen, we all know we need. it's being muted around. We need a centre half, we need a centre midfield, we need a right wing. We all know we need more than 3 players. It's not going to happen overnight. We've said that. I think that's quite categorically being said, that, you know, it's not going to happen overnight. I think we'll bring 4 players in the transfer window. But if you do a double deal there for Sarr and Doucoure from Watford for 50, 60 million quid, as you say, you take that all day. They've got age on the side. You know, as you say, quite rightly say, they know the Premier League. 60 million quid for Doucoure and for Sarr. It's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, I can't look. I sit here and I can't argue with it. The only thing that I go against, and this is me going against myself, is I always say, why are we buying players from clubs that have either been relegated or below us? It's a difficult argument, because I would rather us go and spend £30 million on a player that plays for Barcelona or Real Madrid, but they've not got that Premier League experience, whereas Sarr and Doucoure have. One other last thing, so we'll just mention the last thing. Everton have been linked with a left back. He played on loan at Sevilla last season. He's a Real Madrid player. He was voted actually the best left back in La Liga last season. I can't pronounce his name. Is it Reunion or Reunion or something like that? It's bullshit, isn't it?
I think it's agents playing silly beggars. Listen, it's silly beggar season, isn't it? You know, it's agents trying to flog their players and get the better deals for them. And I said to you before, a lot of these agents, a lot of these clubs now Everton are on the lookout. And, you know, and it's obviously they've got onto the fact Leighton Baines, unfortunately, has hung his boots up. So there's a player there for 18 million from Real Madrid. I tell you what, we'll link him with Everton. Everton offer 18 million, apparently. Someone comes in and offers 22. Everton have then bettered that bid. The other club comes in and offers 25. I can't see Everton bringing him into. We need a left back. Don't get me wrong. We do need a left back because Bainesy's fucked off. But, you know, you've heard that Anthony Robinson could be coming back. The Anthony Robinson deal. Listen, I'm not going to argue the fact that we could get a player from Real Madrid for 18 million quid if it's true. I'm not going to, you know, that's fantastic. Yeah. But Anthony Robinson's played for Everton. He's played for the Premier League. He went off to Wigan and one of the Milan clubs come in for him and he failed his medical for something so small. Now he's gone back to Wigan, nearly in a team that nearly stayed up after getting a points reduction. So for me, I bring Anthony Robinson back before the kid from Real Madrid. You know, I would. Yeah,
I mean, it's a difficult one because no one actually knows if we are in for him. But apparently, this has all been pushed, so Chelsea can essentially go and sign a left back. One other player that we've been linked with, I did say I was going to stop, but one other player that has mentioned Everton now as well is the 36-year-old Bratislav Ivanovic. Now, I can pretty much categorically say I do not believe this transfer. But you never know with Everton.
Well, he's just finished his contract with the club that is it Red Star Belgrade? Was it Red Star Belgrade or something like that?
Someone like that, yeah.
Someone like that. Anyway, the club he was at, he captained them to, I think they've won the league, to be fair, and they haven't renewed his contract. I read a little quote before, and he's turned around and said he's had a nice offer from Everton. It looks like he could finish his career in the Premier League. But then it says, I haven't had no contract with Red Star Belgrade, if it was them or whoever it was, yet. So for me, him and his agent are basically putting the shits up the club that he's just won the league with, saying, look, if you want me to come back, I'm happy to sign, but there's other offers on the table. I can't see Brands, even though he's fucked up quite a bit, or Ancelotti going for a 36-year-old. I just don't get it. You may as well bring back John Joe Kenny as a backup, Michael, and see if he's improved. You know, give him a chance up until the January transfer window instead of giving a big payday to someone who's 36. Yes, he knows the Premier League, you know, but and this is me now. I know Ivanovic hasn't played for us, you know, before, and going back to sentiment, I want us to sign. Listen, we need experience. We need to sign some experienced players. Bit of an older head but not a 36-year-old.
No. Let's put it in perspective. If we sign Ivanovic, the issue we have with Coleman is he's getting too old.
He's not going to play. He's not going to play. He's not going to play. If you take into account we have a couple of good cup runs next season, okay? There's 38 games in the Premier League. You know, the Carling Cup or whatever it's called now, the football trophy or whatever it's called. You know, you're looking at, what are you looking at that from first to the final 10 games, 10 games. Then you got the FA Cup. Yeah. We have to challenge for a trophy next season, Michael. We have to challenge for a trophy and hopefully, push that top 6 for a European place. Seamus Coleman is not going to be available for that many games. No. Yeah, he has come back okay from the football lockdown. He will never be the same player he was from the leg break. We do need backup. But I'm telling you right now, we don't need a 36-year-old backup.
No, exactly. And equally, we want to be signing a right back that's going to be number 1, not backup. And it doesn't make sense, in my opinion, to have a 32-year-old or whatever age Coleman is and a 36-year-old on our right-hand side. It just doesn't make sense to me. Especially when you're selling Kenny, who's, 23? It just doesn't make sense. I think...
my hands up on Kenny, to be fair. I think Ben quite rightly said if they get offered of a 10-15 million pounds for John Joe Kenny, Everton will sell. I did see something last week, West Ham, but in for John Joe Kenny, I can see John Joe Kenny leaving Everton, but I can't see us bringing a 36-year-old in.
No, I agree. I 100% agree. Right, I think that's about it, to be fair. Unless you've got anything else that you want to passionately get involved with, apart from coronavirus or anything.
Oh, we had a good conversation about that as well.
It's what you started the call on, yeah. Jesus.
I know. 10:05 in the morning. No. I'm all done, to be honest with you. I was supposed to be on with Rose on Thursday. That will probably get moved till next week now, obviously, because this was an off-the-cuff video. Michael's got one coming out tonight, which we're trying to try and do a video every 2 days. We've got someone coming on Friday with Michael. That'll probably be out. Is that out Friday, Michael?
No, so what it'll be is you still go on with Rose. My video's going to move.
Right, okay.
Because I've got, so basically, guys, I try to do my videos ahead. So I've got a video that I did yesterday to go out tonight. This video will probably go out tonight instead of that video, which will allow Rose and also Mick Rathbone this week to be on the channel. So that's quite an exciting week, really. We've also got a lad Bradica. He's going to be coming on the channel this week as well. Next week probably, but that video will probably be recorded probably Thursday. So honest to God, we've got so many videos that we haven't got enough days to put them out, so it may get to the point where we do have to put them out every day rather than every other day, but that's great. As long I'm sure our lovely subscribers and our lovely followers would like a video every day, and this doesn't take into account that if Everton do make a signing or two or someone leaves, there'll probably be a video out for that as well, folks. Honest to God, I mean, you should... Honest to God, if we haven't hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of tonight, I'll be very disappointed with you guys.
No, it's been a pleasure, folks. This was a quickly put together video, wasn't it, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, it could be terrible. I mean, it could be terrible, but it's going out anyway. So if you haven't liked it, unlucky.
No, I think they'll like it. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. John, get yourself off to bed, mate. You look like you need it. You look an absolute wreck. You look old. You look like you've got a 25-year-old's haircut with a night tick in the side, and you look like a piece of bacon. Have a fantastic day, folks.
Have a lovely time in Birmingham. Not that you will, because it's a shithole.
Brilliant. Yeah, lick your hand. Ta-ra.
See you later.
I look at people and I wonder all day, who are you and you are not the one in your way. And then I think about myself and I stay. I'm a pretty boss, look on my shit bright waist. I'm a freak in the sheets, but I got class. I'ma grab a knife.